Bing, 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 popcorn. Yes, we are doing. I'm trying to do Dan Aykroyd. I can't do Dan Aykroyd. It's fine. I can't do impersonations. It's just a thing of mine. I just can't do it. But anyway, that was supposed to sound like Dan Aykroyd from the film that we're covering tonight. Tonight. It's tonight for us. It could be morning for you. 1997, Grosse Pointe Blank, starring John Cusack, Minnie Driver, Alan Arkin, Dan Aykroyd, and others. This was my choice. So it's a film that's very dear to me, but as usual on this podcast, I'm sure that the other two might slice it to ribbons and might go, yes, it might hold a particular candle for it, but yes, we didn't like it. I don't know if I should go first, but I think, do you know what? I think I'm going to be the sandwich. The sandwich, I'm going to be the really nice filling between two slices of bread. So slice of bread one is Dom.
Wow. Okay. Well, that introduction. So, plenty of things I did like about this film. Yeah. So I like the soundtrack. I like lots of great songs and some personal favourites of mine amongst those. So I really enjoyed the music side of things. And it's always great to see Dan Aykroyd in a film, and I enjoyed seeing him play against type. Alan Arkin's great as that Jewish psychiatrist who fears for his life in the film. But the two
I don't know. Well, there was the but. Sorry, I was expecting the Hollywood sign scale but.
No, one more.
Right, go on.
The female leads I thought were excellent. I thought Minnie Driver and John Cusack as his secretary were enjoyable and well fleshed out. But I thought they were all better fleshed out than John Cusack's character, who just for me leaves a blank space at the centre of this film. He's full of kind of whip smart dialogue, but little else, I thought. So his backstory, which is kind of a recurring joke, is that he ran away from his reunion, joined the army, went solo, is a trained killer, and that's kind of his pitch to people. But essentially, you don't learn anything else about him. And without that kind of backstory and that characterization, I thought he's on screen for 95% of the film, and he's got to do a lot of heavy lifting. And I just think that's probably the gap at the heart of the film for me. And I think the director has to take some responsibility for that as well. I thought this would be like an early on in a director's career, but it turns out it's actually his penultimate film. But most of his other stuff went straight to DVD, and I do feel the kind of direction's a bit lacking here as well. So for me, it's a good film. I'm definitely not here to rain on your favourite film parade. But it's like a bit like a Wes Anderson film for me. It's style over substance, and for me to have a classic 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 film, for me it has to have both style and substance. So I'm going to give the film a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. I don't know if I want to be the bit in the middle now. Do we go with another loaf of bread and end up with a lemon curd filling?
Can be a deconstructed sandwich.
Which would be me, yeah.
You the boss.
Do you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go next. Right out the traps. It's 10 out of 10 for me. It is 100% 10 out of 10. What's not to like? You have John Cusack. Does he need much of a backstory? The joke is that his backstory changes depending on who he's talking to. Right, that's the joke. Do you need to know how he was trained? Do you need to know how he became an assassin? Do you need to know all that? The movie is going, no. I'm going to keep going. We're going. We're not waiting for the backstory. We don't need it. What the backstory that you do need is that he left Debbie on prom night. That's the backstory that you need, because that's the whole crux of the film. The music. I mean, we talk about soundtracks. I mean, I might have to give so as a vehement anti-Forrest Gump fan, I have to go. The soundtrack's pretty good, because the soundtrack is really good on Forrest Gump. Is it the best one? No. Is this the best one? I don't know. But look at the list that's on it: The Cure, Echo and the Bunnymen, Specials, Violent Femmes, Nena, Queen, The Clash. Good Lord! I mean, you're packing it full of absolute bangers. And you're also not misusing the music. You're also putting it into context at certain points. The bit where he kills the assassin at the end, I know we're doing, and then suddenly, 99 Red Balloons starts and Minnie Driver's going, oh, she's disgusted by it. And then the calm bit of Nena. Whoever curated this soundtrack, hats off to you, because you got it spot on.
Joe Strummer.
Well, there you are. Yes. So there you go. So hats off to you. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly how to play this. You've worked with the director. Then we get to the dialogue. Then we get to the wonderful, the likes of Alan Arkin. You know, he doesn't say much in it, but what he does say is great. You've got the line in the trailer, which will be coming up, which is, you know, to give it a shot. No, don't shoot anybody. It's little things. It's the, you know, as a music fan, when she opens a door to John Cusack and she goes, "You can't come in," right? Anybody that loves music would know that's Who's Wondering Now by the Specials. That's the start of the song, but you wouldn't know it unless you were a fan. And it's just like little nods here and there. Then you've got Cusack. I think his best film, along with Say Anything. Genuinely, I just think it's great. Then you get then you get the other heavyweights. You get Dan Aykroyd coming in. Dan Aykroyd improvising a lot of his stuff, and it's funny and it gels and it's like sticks with you. I mean, I even say to this day, "All right, chatty Cathy, you know, cut your strings." You know, I say that, and people go, "Fuck you on about?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because it just this film did something to me. So I'm really glad that we get a chance to do it. Meanwhile, we've got one slice of bread. We've got the lemon curd. I said it's a 10 out of 10. Here comes the slightly stale. I don't know. Are we going to be all right, Joe? Where are we going to go with this? We've got a 7 and a 10. And I know what I'd like to be writing down now, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Over to you.
No, I was excited when I heard we were going to do this movie because I had never seen it before. And I like John Cusack. I think he's a pretty good actor for most of the movies that he's in. So I started watching it and I realized I did see this before and it sucked the first time. And
Fuck.
and it didn't improve the second time. And the reason why I didn't remember it because it was so bad. Like I think Dom was saying it's the story. It's just that I can't think of too many things positive about the movie other than the soundtrack. I'll agree with you guys with that. The soundtrack is really good. But even watching the trailer, it's like, who's directing this movie? And I had to look to see who's directing it. And it's this dude I never heard of. Is it? That's the writer, George Armitage. Well, maybe I did hear of him, but I mean, you look at his list of credits on IMDb. So, like, his most famous movie is Grosse Pointe Blank, and then after that, it's Gas or It Became Necessary to Destroy the World in Order to Save It. I don't know what the fuck that is. And then there's Vigilante Force, Miami Blues.
Vigilante Force sounds amazing. Tell me more.
But it's like, but I could just tell from the trailer, it just looks like a mess. I just don't think this guy knows how to direct well.
Can I just interrupt you for a minute? Can I bring Mr. Tarantino in, who wanted to actually be in this film?
Good, go ahead.
Because no, I haven't literally got him here. But yeah. Anyway,
I don't care if he wants to be in the movie. He's not the best actor either. I mean, and again, I do like John Cusack, but it's like there's really nobody in this movie I like, and I know like my mother is like really old now and she watches a lot of Hallmark. This is every fucking movie on the Hallmark channel. Let me tell you, it's just so easy to write. It's basically somebody goes to high school, they go out with this girl, or the girl goes out with the guy, and then something happens and they can't take them to the fucking prom, and then they get a job somewhere else, and then they come back and they're like, oh, I wonder if I'm ever going to run into that person. They run into that person and bang, don't you know it, at the end of the movie, they're in love. You know, it's just really sad and poor writing on, I think, or maybe it's just bullshit. I don't like it. And Minnie Driver, I can't stand her. She's like the equivalent to, I guess, Andy McDowell.
No.
Oh, she's awful.
Don't say anything you can't take back, Joe. Seriously.
I don't want to take this back. I've never seen her in anything good whatsoever. I don't think she's attractive. I don't like her voice. I don't think she's a good actress. I don't know what the fuck accent she was trying to have in this movie. I wasn't happy.
Swap Hitman Hardman. Do you want to swap with Joe because he's putting bullets all throughout this film? But
I was trying to be a bit kind because I know it's a film you love, Charlie, but I do feel myself nodding along with some of Joe's comments here. Apart from Minnie Driver, I'll stick up for her. But when
we get to Forrest Gump, scorched earth, my fucking pedigree chum.
No.
It will be. I will be objective.
And I was being objective. I mean, I was kind of hoping I would like it. the second time, but no, it's like, and I will never watch it a third time.
What about the dialogue? I mean, can we not just agree on the dialogue?
I don't care about the dialogue.
The dialogue's pretty snappy, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean,
I
just think the whole movie's nothing very interesting to me. I mean, how I judge a movie, I mean, I do judge it by acting, directing, writing, but there's one last thing, a big element for me is, am I ever going to watch it again? Is it something that I really enjoyed where I'll enjoy it in the future? And the answer to that is a definite no. I mean, I don't ever want to see this movie again.
Oh,
I'm going to go
Legend.
low.
It's not Legend. I mean...
No, Legend I've seen multiple times and I still enjoy that movie. Well, everyone has everything's subjective or whatever.
True.
I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh God, fuck you, 4 out of 10.
Sorry, Charlie.
Joking.
Yeah, average is fucked.
Well, we don't do averages. I just take that whoever introduced the film.
You just take the middle number?
I just take the middle number, yes. I just discount the others, yeah. We don't do averages, not on this podcast. Oh, fucking hell. So,
cue the trailer before you get upset.
Cue the trailer. Do you know what? If that's brought you down a little bit, it hasn't brought me down. Nothing can bring me down. I'm the man. Here's the trailer. Nothing's gonna. That's fine. You can't do anything. I'm on high with this film. Here's the trailer.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling uneasy, man.
Well, look, Mark, I don't want to suggest anything that might be uncomfortable for you, but you might just consider the possibility that part of your problem, part of the thing that's making you so miserable is the angst over killing a lot of people.
I got invited to my 10-year high school reunion. What am I going to say? Killed the president of Paraguay with a fork. How have you been?
Get out of town. Visit with what's her name?
Debbie.
Go see some old friends. Have some punch. Don't kill anybody for a few days. See what it feels like.
I'll give it a shot.
Don't give it a shot. Don't shoot anything.
How long's it been? 10 years?
Since you stood me up on prom night and vanished without a word?
Yeah.
Man, where have you been for 10 years?
I freaked out. I joined the army. I'm a professional killer.
Oh, do you have to do postgraduate work for that, or can you jump right in?
Kid, I'm putting together a little concern.
What, like a union?
Yeah, more like a club. Work less, make more.
I don't want to join your goddamn union, all right?
Okay, but we're not going to let you do your little job here. We're going to do it for you. And after we do your job, we're going to do another little job.
Job? Is it getting to you?
This is me breathing. I've lost my taste for it completely. That's why I came back.
You know what you need?
What?
Shakabuku. It's a swift spiritual kick to the head that alters your reality.
Debbie, I'm in love with you. I know we can make this relationship work. This union, is there going to be meetings? Of course! No meetings.
Welcome home.
So now you watch the trailer, you're telling me that doesn't spark more like, that bit.
That's what I said in my review.
10 years.
10
years, man. 10 years.
That's all Jeremy Piven says in this entire film. He might as well just walk around the sign around his neck saying 10 years, man, because that's his entire contribution. There are so many wasted characters in this. What about those two government officials / FBI agents that just drive round following him?
And
Yeah. Slightly, making a few wise quips and wisecracks. That's a film in a nutshell, actually. They're quite entertaining, quite amusing in a vague kind of left field way, but they just pad the film out a bit and then walk through a door and get shot to pieces at the end and make no contribution other than that. And that's kind of the film. It's a bit of witty dialogue, but not much else. There you go. That's my point.
But they are throughout the film. They're watching him. Yeah,
but what do they do? They're just observers, aren't they? They don't actually add anything to the plot or the outcome.
Well, you know that Dan Aykroyd sold him out by ratting them on the FBI. Who, me? Go G? No.
You kind of watch them waiting for something to happen, and then it never happens.
What's it that you want to do? Did you want the FBI people knew he was going to be caught in the act, and then he was going to go and then he was going to go and do it. And then when he actually rescues Michael Hunsaker from Lethal Weapon, whose name escapes me for the moment, when he rescues him instead, that means they've got to okay, well, we've got to change tack now because we're not going to catch him in the act. He's not actually going to do it. So all they were doing was going to kill him.
Plot point. That's not
okay. Well,
point.
I'll give you that. That you know, they add an awful lot. The bit where he says that he's onto them and he rings the station. Long time listener, first time caller, and he starts talking to him. And he goes, "Yeah, I know why you're in town," and all this sort of stuff. It just adds that sort of. So I know I've got Dan Aykroyd after me. I know I've got the feds after me. I know I've got a pissed off ex-girlfriend. You know, I've got a. You know. Anyway, right, okay. Well, what about?
But it seems all predictable, though.
Well, the whole thing. The whole thing starts when it's not predictable. The whole thing starts where he's doing a hit, and he takes the guy out on the bike, and then you think, "Oh, right, okay, well, he's done that." You don't expect Dan Aykroyd to come out as a concierge and waste everyone, and then you get this start to get this rivalry about it. It's building the story perfectly. Oh.
I mean, did you grasp your pearls when the father was the target?
I was having too much fun that I didn't even think about it.
The ending deserves a separate conversation by itself because that is just abject. They give up on the plot at that point, don't they? Are we going to do that now? Because I can see you shaking your head,
we could go wherever. Yeah.
Start with the ending. I don't know. Maybe that's too bold.
The future is unwritten, as the Clash would say.
I thought it started to try and defend a little bit the film. So I did think that's quite good. It's straight into it. You know, you're building his character. He's got this rifle. He's fielding his phone calls with his secretary. They're kind of back and forth dialogue. You know, he's a pro. He's got the cyclist in his crosshairs. Shoots him. There's gunfire exchange. Then Aykroyd comes out, as you say, and blows everyone away and does a really good, stylish. So I thought first kind of 3 or 4 minutes, excellent. This is going to be really good. But I think that's probably the high point. You know, if you're plotting this on a graph of enjoyment, it's a ski slope after that. That's unfair, but that's definitely a high point.
You know, I love both of you, but seriously, this is like, did you? I'm in the territory of did you watch the film here? I mean,
so defend it.
Were you? I think I already have. I mean, I think my impassioned opening pretty much blows the any of the sort of mild negativity out the water.
All right. Here's a chance.
I'm like this. I'm like, whoop, whoop.
I'd say the biggest problem in the film is I think John Cusack, as the way he's casting for a start, would it have been a better film with a different actor? I think probably it would, because I just don't think he's believable enough as a hitman.
Why not? Incognito, he slips into it. You know, he's not broad. He's not too skinny. He's just probably about right. He's probably been to the militaries, but all the stuff that he's been said, he's been recruited by whoever in order to become an assassin. Yeah, he's learned his trade in the last 10 years.
I think there's a lot of actors who could have delivered that killed the president of Paraguay with a fork line with more kind of either malevolence behind it or more kind of humor. It's a great line.
Name one off the top of your head. Could deliver it as Joe.
Instead of John Cusack,
who you would have instead of John Cusack? You and I used to do this all the time.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson was top of my Bruce Willis, and he would have done a better job. That kind of wisecracking.
Sorry,
action.
Are you forgetting the fact that he's supposed to be like in his late 20s? So 97, Bruce Willis. Well,
they would have changed. I mean, very easy to change that story.
What, to the high school, 20-year high school reunion?
Yeah. You know, just change
30 years. Well, 50 year, I don't know. It depends who you want.
And then also you would get rid of
get Lee Marvin.
What's her face? What I don't like. bring in
Minnie
someone more
Driver.
attractive.
Minnie Driver just.
But let's get on. I'll defend her. But but all right. Another problem with Cusack's performance is he's not a good action star. So that kind of scene when he's fighting the so-called Basque terrorist, and they're doing that kickboxing and the roundhouses and stuff. That's not very believable. That fight
with one of the world champion kickboxers, which he was.
The other guy's believable.
The other guy,
I suppose.
yeah.
But Cusack's not.
Well, I don't know. He kills him with a pen. Right.
I also think I always get worried whenever I see his sister in a movie with him, and I'm like, oh fuck, they better not end up in bed together. No, it just creeps me out because like she's his secretary, and I kind of feel like they should have cast somebody that wasn't her for the secretary.
She's great.
She is fine, but I just think that there could have been like maybe like she was attracted to him, kind of like a Moneypenny James Bond sort of thing, but she never got anything from him. You can't do that if that's your sister playing the role,
You can't. And don't forget that they've been in many films together. Each other. They're in Say Anything Together. They were in
they're aren't they brother and sister?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah. And also in High Fidelity, which I was also kind of like. It's pretty good. The book's better.
They're in 16 Candles.
She was in 16 Candles.
Yeah, she was the girl with the braces.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, nice one. Nice. Okay. Oh, I can sense you two have got a little bit of trivia in there. We've no Oscar bants, have we?
Damn it!
Do we don't have anything for Alan Arkin? I mean,
I didn't research that other wider films. Minnie Driver got an Oscar nomination. I'm sure she did for Best Supporting Actress. So, can we talk about those? Because you criticised John Cusack, but I thought she was good in this. I liked her performance, limited as it was, that one set that she kind of operates in. But when she's switching between kind of the dialogue with him, and then she's giving somebody a bollocking for not providing the ammunition, and she's just launched that. I thought it was pretty effective performance. She actually contributed to it in a way that other kind of parts of the ensemble cast didn't. But Minnie Driver, that's where I would side more with Charlie. I think Joe. I'm not saying she's a classic beauty, but she's attractive.
Yeah.
In this, I think her choice of music, the fact she's a DJ, something quite seductive about her voice, and I think she plays an intelligent woman who's been wronged, and she's kind of that dilemma about somebody's hurt me, but I still love them. Should I let them back into my life? Something I'm sure we've all grappled with from time to time in our lives. I thought that was plausible, and I'd have probably, if anything, liked to have seen it a bit more from her perspective rather than this kind of blank canvas that is John Cusack in the film. And I thought that scene where she's in bed watching a movie, I thought she looked quite hot in that scene. So that's my staunch defense of Minnie Driver. And it did make me think, actually, what happened to her career, because she was pretty successful. She was in some big-ish Hollywood blockbusters. She may have never been an A-lister kind of opening movies like a Julia Roberts, but she was kind of bubbling away under that. And so I checked her out. She's still going, but she just seems to have dropped off a cliff, really, unfortunately. Maybe that's what happens to women after a certain age in Hollywood because of the inherent sexism in the movie industry. I don't know, but poor old Minnie Driver. But I thought she was good in this film.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely better than Andy McDowell, but also Jenna Elfman. This was her first role. I guess probably a bit more than we do over here. She was in the sitcom Dharma and Greg.
Yeah, she was a weirdo.
Yeah,
she became a Scientologist, and I think she became a Scientologist just because so many Hollywood people were joining it, and I just thought she was a flake.
Do we get?
I don't even remember her in the movie.
Yeah. Do we get a flag now that you said the S word? I mean, I know we've cursed all the way through it. That's not a problem. But I think there's certain things you're not allowed to say. You're not allowed to say the GUNS word, SHOOTING word. You're not supposed to say. There's certain things that I watch podcasts and they blank them out all the time. I think it's because the YouTube algorithm just goes, what are they talking about? Maybe the YouTube algorithm could listen in to actually what we're doing, and it might find it quite funny, and it might go, "Oh, okay. Well, do you know what? I'll recommend you I'll recommend your podcast because I didn't find anything offensive there, apart from the other two not liking Grosse Pointe Blank. I'll recommend the podcast.
Well, let me ask you a question, Charlie. So you gave this a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
This is the same score you gave The Godfather.
Yes.
How?
Because, well, it doesn't have to be a genre film in order to appreciate it. Let's give you another idea. We haven't covered it, and it'll be a while before we cover it, so everyone will forget what I'm just about to say. But I gave The Truman Show a 10 out of 10. I will give The Cable Guy a 10 out of 10 because that film makes me rock with laughter. It's just incredible.
Well, I think this is the thing, isn't it?
So it doesn't matter that it doesn't fit into a certain genre. This came along. I remember taking a girl all the way from Oswald Street here, Telford, 45 minutes away. My friend's sister, and we didn't know what to expect. She laughed her head off. I laughed my head off and went, that was just incredible.
I'm just saying, like, if like people looked at you as someone to recommend films and you gave them, like, say, The Truman Show and The Godfather and whatever the classic, maybe Citizen Kane, and they're like, "Oh, that's great! You know, Charlie's great," and then all of a sudden you give them a Grosse Pointe Blank.
This feels like a personal attack here. It's like,
is he schizophrenic?
Wait a minute. I would build up their trust, and then I'd hit them with a Grosse Pointe Blank.
Can I just clarify for you two,
or an Iron Eagle,
struggling with this concept, right? So what we're differentiating here is his best films, which has got some sort of kind of objective scale based on things like cinematography and director's vision and all these kind of, you know, if we're sitting around stroking our chins and talking about in a film studies class, like films like The Godfather. But I think this little mini season that we're doing now is kind of sort of best films in inverted commas, like personal favorites is the season. So Joe, you had your The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and which is, you know, could sit in both camps. This for me is one which
absolutely wonderful
sits firmly in personal favorite camp because I think realistically, Charlie, this isn't going to be kind of a 10 out of 10 in any film studies class.
Probably not. But no, absolutely.
So differentiate
4 out of 10 either though.
Best and favorite, and so we're saying this. So I think we touched on it there. So it sounds like you went to the cinema on a memorable evening with a lass. I don't know if you mentioned the word hand job, but that's what I'm kind of picturing in this. In the back,
we can say that.
Oh, we're allowed to say that. Yeah.
The back row at Oswald Street Cinema.
I'm saying,
and you enjoyed this?
Telford Cinema. We went posh. We went to the multiplex. Woohoo!
Okay.
Yeah. I won't tell you what happened, but she was grateful that I took her.
She was grateful. Okay, wow. Okay, fair enough.
That's why you like it so much. Have fond memories.
No, when we said we were going to do this film, I ended up watching this film 4 times because I just stuck it back on. I went, I just want to see it again. Which is garlic to a vampire Joe down there is saying that I watched it repeatedly. But yeah,
listeners, if you want to write into the comments and speculate as to what Charlie did to make this girl grateful at Telford Cinema back in the 90s, then I'd be interested to see how filthy you can get. But so it's got a personal connection with you, and just bring to life for us what it is you enjoy about this film.
I think when you grow up, when you grow up with a particular actor and you go, anything that they star in has been entertaining. It might not win any awards. It might not be that sort of thing. It turns out that John Cusack is quite a versatile actor. Meanwhile, he can do the grifters. He can then do things like One Crazy Summer. He can do the wonderful, absolutely wonderful Better Off Dead. You can have The Sure Thing. You can have 16 Candles. You could wait a minute. Is he in Stand By Me? Don't remember.
Yeah, he plays the older brother.
That's right. That's right. The older brother. So you've got like this actor, and you could look at his 80s thing and go pretty much, yeah, he kind of plays John Cusack in each one, and he kind of plays that goofy guy, the bit of a nerd and all that sort of stuff. But then he breaks out, and then he starts doing other stuff. And I think when somebody that you trust to make a good film that you're going to enjoy, nobody is ever going to say Better Off Dead is the most wonderful film in the world. I might. Not say it's the most wonderful film in the world, but I might because I go back to it. Joe, you and I think, did we do the podcast? I can't remember when we did Better Off Dead. Did you join? I think you joined the podcast with me.
I don't remember.
And I
it's
was just
fun.
splitting every time. I was just splitting my sides, going, "Truly an awesome spectacle," right? The kind of things that just cracks me up. It cracks me up just doing it now because. So my relationship with this actor is when he does something like this that's a little bit darker, it's still as funny. I'm like, I'm with you, dude. I never left you. My one thing, I just on a final note, I watched him play Brian Wilson, which I think is pretty much unplayable in the film Love and Mercy. And at the end of that film, I got to Twitter and I wrote to John Cusack and I went, that was incredible. That was absolutely wonderful. I didn't think it could be done, but you pulled it off and you did it. And half an hour later, he sent back, "Thank you, sir." And I just went, me and John Cusack are best buddies.
Then I started stalking him.
yeah. Then I've got the restraining
Tell me
order.
more.
Well, then he turned into somebody that obviously went all political and he's gone off the rails or whatever. But but look, that's the reason behind it. That's the easy way to answer it. I have a relationship with him, and a relationship in the sense that I trust what he does. I don't remember him making a bad film. He's made some duffers, but I don't think they were bad. They were watchable. Not like fucking Hugh Grant or something that makes
He's walked his own line.
like 9 months and 2 weeks notice.
He's walked his own line. I'll give him that. Yeah, he's not sold out, and he's kind of had a kind of an independent-esque career within the Hollywood machine, I think. So yeah, no, I respect him, and I think he's good at Con Air, which we did not so long ago. I thought he was good in that. I thought he added.
See, I didn't like him.
He's
in
more
that.
believable as kind of a dweeby admin guy than a international hitman.
Yeah, I think he's got his own style. I mean, and I think. I wasn't a huge fan of him growing up was it the 80s or the 90s, would you say?
80s. 80s was his decade.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I only got into him later on in life, but no, I like once I saw like Say Anything, I wanted to see more of his movies because you just like his style. But
I mean, even now, if you held up a stereo like that, you don't need to say it. People go, but Say Anything. How's that become a legacy nearly 40 years later? You've just been there at the right time, I think. But
well, look,
anyway.
It feels like we're reaching a consensus, which is lovely, isn't it? So I'm just going to shatter the camaraderie on the pod by just asking if we can discuss the end of the film, which for me was a travesty of lazy writing. So you love it or find it mediocre. You kind of go through this film and you experience it and you're wondering how they're going to kind of tie it all together, or indeed are they? Is she going to run off? Is she going to be with him? And then the kind of plot twist, spoiler alert listeners, is that the John Cusack, Dan Aykroyd characters actually, of all the people in the world, lo and behold, he's now targeting Minnie Driver's father. That's the way they bring the film to an end. I mean, I'm just going to say bullshit. They're
not targeting his. Wait a minute. They're not targeting the dad. They're waiting for him. They're waiting for him to do the hit. Oh no, shit! No, you're right. Yeah, because they're finishing it because he's not going to do it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
right,
so
okay,
it's
sorry.
So that kind of coincidence, which all films use to some extent, don't they? You suspend disbelief, but that definitely felt a bit jarring. And then it kind of turns into like a regulation action film where, all right, there's a bit of wit and banter, but essentially it just becomes a shoot 'em up for the final scenes. And then he heroically saves the day, gets the girl and her dad, and declares his love, and that's it. They kind of drive off together, and I don't know. I think goodwill starts to evaporate. Oh. Okay, for some kind of streetwise, kind of edgy, slightly left field, detached film up to this point, it just goes full on Hollywood schmaltz at the end.
Well, you want them to end up at the end, don't you? Or do you want it to end up really cynically, whereby?
I want a different movie.
Well, speaking of different movies, I think we finished this one. We'll go on to what we're going to do next week. Just before we do that, however, dear watchers, listeners, however you're consuming this, I'd just like to put that it cost 15 million to make and made 30. So it made its money back and made a profit for everyone. On Rotten Tomatoes, 82 critic score, 88 viewers score, and a 7.3 on Amazon. Nowhere near the 4, Joe. I mean, Wow. Yeah,
Nowhere
I
near a
can't,
10
can't,
either.
can't see that anywhere. Well, it's nearer a 10 than a 4, my friend. 88, not far off. Not far at all. Anyway, so we're going from what I thought was classic black comedy to a completely different type of film for the next one. This is quite a short podcast, actually. It might catch on this. Doing a short, getting it like a crocodile sandwich, making it snappy. Dom, do you want to introduce your film that we're going to cover next week?
You seem to have forgotten that we've bumped me for a week or two, haven't we? Because we're doing another one of yours.
We didn't bump. We didn't. No, are we bumping?
That's what
I'm
I thought we
staying out of
agreed.
it.
Oh,
Pre-pod?
right. Yes, you're right. Oh, I haven't prepared anything, but okay. So you'll have to wait to hear what Dom was going to suggest. We both know what it is. I think we're quite looking forward to it, but keep you in suspense. June the 20th. June the 20th is the.
Can you guess what it is, listeners? Yeah.
50th anniversary of Jaws. I have a huge story to tell, which I'll tell on the podcast of why it became to be my favorite movie. I think if you've listened to it, you'll know that it's already going to be a 10 for me. It can't be anything else. But I've got like a story, and I may actually, for the certainly for the viewers, is bring a bit of memorabilia to that to be able to show you some of the stuff that I've got. I've got a piece of the boat. Yeah, I've got a lot of different things from my perspective. But yeah, we just thought we are going to do it. There's a George 50th anniversary in Martha's Vineyard, which I can't get to because it's so expensive. But I would love to have been there to see it. They're re-releasing it in cinemas over here. They're putting it in IMAX. They're putting it in 3D. There's yet another collectible steelbook edition, which I've had to order from the States because it's sold out here. It's still very popular as is at the moment. And I'm just thinking, what do you two think, that whether or not you think it actually holds a test of time after 50 years? I will say this, and I will just finish on this note. Amy said to me just before I went on holiday 2 weeks ago, Mum says that I need to watch some films. She needs you to introduce me to films. And I went, okay. She goes, what would you suggest for tonight? And I said, I don't know. She said, she told you any ones? She went, yeah. She says, apparently I've got to watch Jaws. And I was like, this moment has come. This is it. I always thought it was going to be in a theatre that we're going to watch it. I would prefer it in a theatre. I would like it to have the shocks. I would like it to have all the stuff with that. I've got the 4K of Jaws, as the viewers can see here. Nice big TV, nice sound system. Put Jaws on. She got to the second shark attack and she says, I'm going upstairs to have a shower. I have never felt so deflated in the last years. And I'm like,
I thought you would watch it with her.
I was watching it with her.
Oh,
we were
okay.
watching it together, and then she suddenly decided, all right. So she went. She liked the shot with. We'll talk about this on when we do the podcast. But she liked that. She liked some bits, but the bit at the start she was quite scared with the attack at the start, which I think is because I jacked up the sound. And then instead of finishing off Jaws, she comes back down and then goes, actually, you can watch something else. So we stick on Ready Player One. I'm like, we've gone from Spielberg to Spielberg, but not in a good way. So yeah, I was disappointed. So tell you what, do you know what? She's going to the cinema to see it. She's coming with me to the cinema. We're going to watch it in IMAX. And if you thought that I was trying to take it nice and easy,
dude, for a kid.
If I was look, fine. If she doesn't want to watch it in the home comforts with everything here and popcorn and all that sort of stuff, she can watch that head come out on IMAX. And
I mean, is this like a full IMAX or is it like
yeah? It's been shown at the BFI. It's the biggest.
Oh man, I wouldn't take her.
Biggest one in Europe.
She's gonna have nightmares or
well, do you know what
attacks.
She had a chance, you know.
Are you gonna put a
Wait a minute! When I saw it, I was 11. Right, it didn't scare me that much.
Yeah, you turned out fine, didn't you? So it's all good.
Sort of, yeah. All right, okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that on the next podcast. It might be.
I'm just thinking of
extended.
I'm thinking of your daughter. I remember Revenge of the Sith and what happened there.
Oh yes, yeah, I got into trouble on that one. I forgot about the bit at the end where he's burning and everything. Yeah,
I think you're going to get a yelling at.
she's never forgiven me.
I don't think she's going to forgive you if you have to. If what is it like an 8-story screen with people being killed, with that kid in the raft being killed?
Yeah,
you know, she's going to have nightmares. She's going to
get Joe. I might even okay. So tell you what, I might not take it to IMAX, but I'll take it to 3D.
All right. Well, it's in 3D too.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen when it was released 5 years ago. I saw it in 3D, and I always thought, oh God, don't 3D this film. It doesn't need it. And I watched it. Did it add much? No, not really. It looked pretty, but didn't add anything. Didn't need it. But I'm glad that I've seen it. So I've seen it in all the formats now, including my little trusty VHS that I had of it. Oh. Anyway, right. On that note, we've probably talked about Jaws as much as we talked about Grosse Pointe Blank. So yes, let's leave it there. Yeah, we'll see you on the next one. The only last thing I need to say is cheerio.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.